Good afternoon. Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Gabriela Coletta, City Councilor representing District 1. I'm the chair of the Boston City Council Committee on Environmental Justice, Resiliency, and Parks. Today is March 25th, 2024. This hearing is being recorded. It is also being live streamed at boston.gov/city-council-tv and broadcasted on Xfinity Channel 8, RCN Channel 82, and FiOS Channel 964. Written comments may be sent to the committee email at ccc.ep@boston.gov and will be made a part of the record and available to all councilors. Public testimony will be taken at the end of this hearing. Individuals will be called on in the order in which they signed up and will have 2 minutes to testify. If you are interested in testifying in person, please add your name to the sign-up sheet near the entrance of the chamber. If you are looking to testify virtually, please email our Central Staff Liaison, Shane Pack, at shane.pack, that's P-A-C, at boston.gov for the link, and your name will be added to the list. Today's hearing is on docket 0135, message and order authorizing the City of Boston to accept and expend the amount of $5 million in the form of a grant for the Aquatic Facilities Grant awarded by the United States Department of the Treasury, passed through the Massachusetts Department of Conservation and Recreation to be administered by Property Management. The grant will fund the repairs and maintenance of aquatic facilities. This hearing is also on docket 0137, message and order authorizing the City of Boston to accept and expend the amount of $659,990 in the form of a grant for the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant, awarded by the United States Department of Energy to be administered by the Environment Department. The grant will fund state and local governments and tribes in implementing strategies to reduce energy use, to reduce fossil fuel emissions, and to improve energy efficiency. These matters were sponsored by the administration and was referred to the committee on January 24th, 2024. Today, I am joined by my colleagues in order of arrival: Councilor Murphy, Councilor Flynn, Councilor Weber, and Councilor Louis-Jean. I'll provide my colleagues an opening space for an opening remarks if they have any. Councilor Murphy, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you, Chair, and thank you to the panelists for being here. Like we just said, buildings, pools, both important. Happy to have this conversation as we head into budget season and getting all of this work done so that our residents can use the facilities we have. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Murphy. Councilor Flynn.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to the administration panel that's here for their important work. It's important we work together in providing residents the best services we possibly can, including access to swimming. That's an issue that I've been involved in and working on the council for 7 years. And it's one of my top priorities, working closely with city officials to ensure every young person in Boston has access to swimming lessons, and also working closely with the administration to try to fix as many swimming pools as we possibly can. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Flynn. Actually, it was Councilor Louis-Jean that came in, and then Councilor Weber. Councilor Louis-Jean, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I just want to thank commissioners and director for being here with us as we discuss these grants that are really important. We have so many places in our city that are in need of repair, so many aquatic facilities, and it is important that we put an emphasis on that so that maybe one day I can use one of those facilities and I too can learn how to swim. Growing up, it was difficult for that to be something, and I know that the mayor is really pushing for kids from neighborhoods like mine, Mattapan, low income, black and brown neighborhoods around the city, that we have access to quality facilities, and I think this will help us get there. And also the grant money that's here to implement strategies to reduce energy use for everyone, including our indigenous populations. I see one of our leaders here, Jean-Luc Petit-Maître. Thank you for being here. Merci. Thank you so much for being here with us as we discuss these grants and how important they are for our city and for our community. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Louis-Jean. Councilor Weber.
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to reiterate the comments of my council colleagues, and I look forward to this hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Weber. We have an absence letter that I will read into the record from Councilor Fernandez-Anderson. Dear Chair Coletta and council colleagues, I hope this message finds you well. I regret to inform you that I will be unable to attend today's hearing. I will review the recording to remain engaged in this very important topic. Thank you in advance for your understanding. Sincerely, Tanya Fernandez-Anderson, City Councilor, District 7. So for this hearing, we'll dive into, and no pun intended, there's going to be I did not mean to do that. We're going to dive into docket 0135, which is the Aquatics Facilities Grant, and then we'll discuss 0137, having to do with decarbonization and the Berto Board. So please feel free to take it away in your preferred order. Thank you.
Sure. Good afternoon, Chair Coletta, councilors, members of the committee. My name is Eamon Shelton, Commissioner of Property Management. I'm joined by Marta Rivera, Commissioner of BCYF. I want to thank you for this opportunity to testify in favor of accepting and expending the $5 million Aquatics Facilities Grant awarded by the U.S. Department of Treasury, passed through the Massachusetts Department of Conservation and Recreation, to be administered by the City of Boston's Property Management Department. I want to thank the Boston City Council as well as our state legislators for your continued focus on and for your support of city pools. Over the last year, the Property Management Department and the Operations Cabinet have been spearheading Boston's Resilient Buildings Program, Mayor Wu's initiative to invest in the modernization of city facilities to better deliver city services and programs to residents. Through this effort, the Property Management Department has taken a more active role in the management of BCYF facilities, which is why I'm before you today. While the $5 million grant will have an enormous impact on pools in the city, we recognize that any single facility's capital needs may exceed this amount. Also, these funds must be expended by December of 2026. Given those constraints, we intend to prioritize this money on state of good repair projects that will help us avoid emergency closures and unplanned shutdowns. Thanks to interagency collaboration between BPS, BCYF, the Public Facilities Department, the Property Management Department, investments of city funding, and ongoing facility assessments, the city is on track to have more pools open this year than in previous summers, including the Clardy, Draper, Marshall, and Mattahunt. Overall, this will make we're on track right now for 15 of the 22 city-owned pools to be operable this summer, which is a great achievement. Your approval to accept and expend this grant will allow us to build upon these successes and to provide the service levels that residents of Boston deserve. So thank you.
Thank you so much, and I apologize. I did not introduce our panel. Please forgive me, so I'll do that now. So for the first panel talking about this docket, we have Eamon Shelton, who's the Commissioner of Property Management, Marta Rivera, who is the Commissioner of BCYF, and then for panel 2, for docket 0137, we have Allison Brizius, Commissioner of the Environment Department, as well as Hannah Payne, who is the Director of Carbon Neutrality of the Environment Department. Apologies. And Commissioner Rivera, did you also want to provide opening remarks?
No, thank you.
Okay. I will reserve my questions for after my colleagues, and so with that, I will go to Councilor Murphy she's not here, so I will go to Councilor Flynn if you have any questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I had the opportunity to visit the Blackstone School earlier this week and last week, and tour the facility, tour the school, tour the BCYF center, including the gymnasium and the swimming pool. And I know after talking to Mayor's office and BCYF team that it's very unlikely that Blackstone pool will be open because of significant challenges to fix the pool. But also BPS is hopefully going to build a state-of-the-art new school at Blackstone, and I think the students certainly deserve it. Proud to represent that area, and as we know, it's across the street from Villa Victoria. It's across the road from Cathedral as well. It's down the road from Castle Square, a low-income neighborhood. So my question is, and I know we've talked about this, Commissioner, in the past, but as we move forward, can we come up with a plan, a 12-month plan for residents of the South End as it relates to swimming lessons for children and adults too, but especially children, BPS students? Again, I know you are making progress, your team's making progress, but I just want to ask again if we can continue that same level of cooperation.
Thank you, Councilor Flynn, for the question and your continued commitment to the Blackstone and the Quincy. I know you've been a huge advocate for the pools at those sites, and the answer is yes. We're going to continue to shuttle the kids that are attending the Blackstone programming to the nearby facilities. They've been brought to the Mason, and so throughout the summer we'll continue to do that, and until they have access to a pool.
Thank you. Commissioner, do you think over the next several months as we head into the summertime, are we able to see if BCYF can partner with some of our community leaders in and around the Boston Harbor, including Save the Harbor, Save the Bay, Boston Harbor Now, in ensuring kids from the South End, kids from public housing, students from Chinatown as well in South Boston, but they can also be exposed to the harbor islands, the Boston Harbor, the beautiful, clean Boston Harbor. I want to make sure that we continue to provide access to the ocean to kids from all over the city, especially kids of color that have really never experienced a boat ride or a tour of some of these wonderful harbor islands.
Absolutely. Our sites, community centers have actually taken advantage of those programs of Save the Harbor, Save the Bay, to visit the islands in the past. It's a very popular trip, particularly in the summer. And as far as accessing the beaches, we, last summer, with the Curly Beach reopening, we brought some of the kids and youth from other sites to the Curly Beach. And we actually started a boat building program at the Curly with youth from other sites. So the Condon kids, for instance, just built a boat, and now we're working with kids, I believe if it's Charlestown, that are now in the process of building another boat. So we've got several great partnerships, and we want to make sure, like you, that our youth continue to access waterfronts and beaches and learn about their environment.
Commissioner, do you do any work with providing kids access to the Charles River, whether it's boating or it's obviously not swimming, but access to safe boating in and around the Charles River?
Yeah, so actually we've worked with Courageous Sailing, and we'll be, I believe we're doing it again this summer. So Super Teens were part of Courageous Sailing last year, and fairly certain we're going to access that again.
Yeah, the Super Teens?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to work with them for the last several years and hosting a couple of events with them, but the wonderful students, and they're learning a lot as being in that program. What's significant, Commissioner, about that teen program? What type of skills are they learning, and how are they benefiting from that program?
So Super Teens was created to provide opportunities for the kids that were too young for employment, so that 14-year-old and 13 and 14-year-olds, giving them pre-employment skills, leadership skills, so they're learning again about not just how to show up to work, how to be punctual, work on a team, but we're also exposing them to different opportunities throughout the city, like again, Courageous Sailing, and they receive a stipend at the end, so they're being rewarded. That age, kids also want, some spending money, and as the OYEO, or summer jobs, have opened up for 14-year-olds. We're looking at, do we do 12 and 13? So we're constantly just trying to fill the gap so that young people, teens, have a variety of opportunities available to them.
Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you for the work of your team. No further questions.
Thank you, Councilor Flynn. Councilor Louis-Jean, you now have the floor.
Thank you, Councilor Coletta. I just have a question. Just both of these grants are hopefully are they yearly grants that money that we receive from the federal government? I guess the first one's from the state and the second one is from the federal government.
Correct, yeah, so the Aquatics is actually from the federal government with a pass-through to the state.
Okay.
To us, that's correct.
Okay, great. And so these are both monies that we've received in past years?
I don't believe we've received this particular, I think this was a specific, at least for the aquatic facility, unique to this budget cycle.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. And so a little bit, can you talk to us a little bit more about the second grant, the one that's $659,000 for implementing strategies to reduce energy use and fossil fuel emissions? What will that look like in practice?
Thank you, Councilor Louis-Jean. We're taking docket 015, the aquatics one first, and then unless you have to go someplace and ask questions.
Yeah.
Okay, I will allow it.
Thank you.
Allison or oh my goodness, Hannah, if you'd like to respond.
Sure.
Councilor Louis-Jean.
Thank you, councilors, and for the interest of time, I'll pass it over to Hannah Payne to briefly describe the grant.
Wonderful. Good afternoon, councilors. My name is Hannah Payne. I'm the Director of Carbon Neutrality in the Environment Department. So thank you, Chair, for convening this hearing, and thank you, councilors, for your time this afternoon. I'm here today to speak about the Energy Efficiency Conservation Block Grant, or EECBG. EECBG is a federal formula grant from the Department of Energy, and per the formula, Boston was awarded $659,990 to support the implementation of the Building Emissions Reduction and Disclosure Ordinance, or BERDO. So I want to thank the chair and other councilors for your ongoing support of BERDO. For anyone who's new to BERDO, it was passed in 2021 and requires residential buildings with 15 or more units and non-residential buildings 20,000 square feet and above to report their energy use annually to the city and to reduce emissions over time to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. Buildings covered by BERDO represent just about 5% of the total buildings in Boston, but they account for about 40% of the citywide greenhouse gas emissions. My team in the Environment Department has been working diligently to develop regulations, to detail reporting and compliance processes, and to support building owners with complying with BERDO. The 6,000 buildings subject to BERDO will need to develop strategies to reduce energy use and emissions to comply with the ordinance. The EECBG grant funds will be used for contract services to support the development and implementation of a new building decarbonization advisor program, which will support under-resourced property owners in accessing building decarbonization technical assistance and support in order to enable their compliance with BERDO. EECBG funds will be dedicated to procuring external decarbonization advisors to support owners of under-resourced BERDO properties, such as condo associations, small buildings, small businesses, community health centers, nonprofits, and other community-serving buildings. Funds will be prioritized for buildings that fall within the federal Justice 40 neighborhoods, which is the federal government's environmental justice designation. Per the grant, at least 40% of the grant must be expended in Justice 40 neighborhoods. These decarbonization advisors that we will be procuring through a RFP will assist owners in conducting energy audits, interpreting the results of those energy audits, identifying incentives and financing opportunities, and determining whether a building is a candidate for weatherization, electrification, renewable energy, battery storage, and other energy and emissions reduction improvements in their buildings. The advisors will also help develop zero over time plans that outline decarbonization strategies for the buildings over time, helping owners strategically plan equipment replacement, refinancing, and tenant turnover to enable their BERDO compliance. I'm happy to answer any questions about this grant, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Hannah. Our Commissioner Brazil, if you'd like to expand.
To directly answer the councilor's question, it is effectively a one-time block grant through the IRA. There was an allocation to Boston in 2008 around the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. but this is newly funded under the IRA.
Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you, Director, and thank you, Councilor Chair Coletta, for indulging me and allowing me to take these out of turn. Outside of this grant, thank you, Director. That sounded like a list of amazing things that we need to be doing, and especially wanting to get everyone to meet our BERDO goals. We have to provide them with the financial assistance to do so. 650, that 9,000, while a lot of money, doesn't sound like it's like enough to do, even for if you take alone the condo associations that need to meet their BERDO requirements. So I'm wondering, what are the other sources of funds that, I'm sure this is not the only pot of money that we have to do this work. Is it from our operating budget that we're doing the rest of the work? Are we relying on grants, or are we just not providing financial assistance to those who have to meet the BERDO obligations, or are we required to find ways under BERDO to assist those financially who otherwise would have a difficult time meeting those standards?
Thank you for the question. So under BERDO, there are some other funding opportunities that BERDO building owners have. Notably, the Mayor's Office of Housing deep energy retrofit programs that are supporting both decarbonization planning and actual decarbonization projects, support BERDO, affordable housing, BERDO building owners with their decarbonization requirements. There are also, there's some state money also supporting affordable housing with that. And then we also have the Equitable Emissions Investment Fund that has the mayor and the council supported with $3.5 million of operating funds into that Equitable Emissions Investment Fund, which will be used to support building decarbonization projects with an environmental justice focus. And then we are also anticipating additional funding to flow through the Mass Save program and other IRA incentives from the federal government through some of those programs. That being said, this is a very large mandate, and there will building owners many building owners will still need to be making investments in their buildings and paying for some of these services to comply with the emissions reduction goals of BERDO.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to everyone. Director, I think this is the first time we've met, so thank you for the work that you're doing in the city to help us meet our energy efficiency and environmental justice goals in the city. Thank you. No further questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Louis-Jean. Next, we'll go to Councilor Murphy. Councilor Murphy, we did hear from the Environment Department, so if you have questions on both, please feel free to ask them. And then I'll go around again for folks who didn't get a chance to ask the Environment Department.
Thank you. No real direct questions. Just know that we need to get these grants passed so we can get the work started. And on the pools, you know, we had a hearing, I chaired a hearing a couple weeks ago on making sure we have the lifeguards, making sure we're doing the proper maintenance to our pools, which I know has been top priority for all of you since, you know, for the last couple years. So this will help, you know, because we can't increase aquatics and safety if we don't have our pools ready to be, you know, safe for us to swim in. At the same time, over the weekend at the Youth Job Summit, which was an awesome turnout, I saw the table of, you know, become a lifeguard. And actually, look, I have my water bottle, the property management water bottle is there, but, you know, so making sure that we have everything in place, right? We have lifeguards ready to go, we have pools ready to go. It's important. So just looking forward to passing these grants, and always thank you for continuing to make sure that, and I appreciate the scale, right? That it's not hurting, you know, the small people that may not be able to afford it. It's looking bigger. I know that last year we did call in the unions and made sure that they had a voice and that we weren't, you know, causing a burden in balancing the need, right? That we have to get this right, but at the same time, we have to, you know, go slow if needed and make sure that we're helping people along the process so that they're in a good place to make it work. So thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Murphy. Councilor Weber.
Thank you, Chair. There are some issues I'd just like to revisit from Councilor Murphy's hearing. So I don't know who wants to answer this about pools, but I represent Jamaica Plain, West Roxbury, and the back of Mission Hill. We had talked about the Draper Pool. I don't know if, are there any updates when that's gonna, what's happening? I think there were some delays, but just asking.
Sure, yeah. So we've been collaborating quite closely on the Draper Pool to replace the liner and make some other sort of facility repairs and infrastructure repairs. So we expect and plan for it to be open this summer.
Okay, so yeah, still, it seemed like it was supposed to open earlier, but it's on pace for this summer.
Yeah, so I think after the initial work, there was some additional findings and things that needed to be repaired, particularly with the pool shell. That work has been completed, and so we're just finalizing some of the closeout items, and this summer we expect to be open.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I also, the Hennigan School, are there any updates about, there's a pool there, right? Any updates for my constituents?
Yeah, so Hennigan's one of the, so there, of the pools that are currently closed, 7 are undergoing capital repairs and renovations. And so I think, I'm assuming a timeline was given at the last hearing, but if not, we can follow up with the timeline. But it's receiving it hasn't changed. No, not since the last hearing. So it's under a capital repair renovation. So it's a larger project.
Okay.
Counselor, I was just going to add that with the Draper, like many of our pools, unfortunately, once we start a project, sometimes things are uncovered. So that project was actually only supposed to be several months. It wasn't intended to be a large capital project. There was some tiling that needed to happen and some work in the locker room initially. And the pool liner was going to be touched up, and then that, as Commissioner Shelton mentioned, turned into a capital project. We had to completely replace that liner, and in the process of doing that, again, have uncovered some additional issues. So once it's reopened, it's practically going to be a brand new pool.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I didn't mean to suggest that there was, the delay was any fault of your work. I think we often delay, maintenance too long, and so thank you for getting to that and fixing it up. I had and Councilor Murphy mentioned lifeguards. I think so. What's the outlook for this summer? Do we think do we still need to do work, to find the lifeguards? Do we think we're gonna have enough?
Yeah, so we need, we're recruiting about 54 lifeguards for the summer. That includes some full-time positions, so we need a total of 86. And so we currently have about 32, 33 lifeguards. We are, so definitely could use everyone's help to spread the word. And we just, thanks to our labor department, working with our unions, we are able to offer a bonus again this year. So we have a signing bonus, retention bonus. We have seasonal positions, part-time positions, full-time positions. We're hoping that all of these things will make it attractive. And as Councilor Murphy mentioned, we're out there actively recruiting, doing the outreach. And we are going to be launching a public awareness campaign with ads in various newspapers, the T, some of the street shelters, Clear Channel. So we're really trying to leverage all of the outlets available to us to, again, promote and push not just the fact that we have these positions, whether it's part-time, seasonal, or full-time, but that we have a very attractive bonus that comes with it.
Yeah, and so I'm happy to carry the torch for BCYF and try to, get enough people. And so if I heard you right, we need about 84, and we have about 36?
86 total to get all of the operable pools running, and we're also going to continue doing lessons, so that's the hope again for 86. We can operate all of our pools with less than that, but what we want to do is continue to have programming, right? Things like lessons, which we haven't done in the last couple of years because of the number of lifeguards. And we also have, we're creating this pipeline where we have certification programs as well as the Lifeguard Academy to build resiliency and endurance to get to certification, all of which we offer for free. And through that training program, we're hoping to have about 15 people actually apply to some of these positions. So we're doing everything we can, again, to prepare, certify, and create this pipeline and incentivize, people, I'm gonna say people, not just young people, to apply. Again, some of these are year-round positions with great benefits.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know if Councilor Flynn had a time constraint. I didn't want to.
Oh, no, so I was asking if you had more questions for the Environment Department, but you got all the time that you need, Councilor
No,
Weber.
so if people ask me, we're looking for lifeguards, and happy to promote. I think it's a great thing to do in the summer as a job, but also, a vital resource, and we need more lifeguards to make sure our kids can swim.
All of the information you can find it on our either social media or our website, boston.gov/BCYF.
Okay. So that's, I don't know if we want to go back to the original intent of.
No, go.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for asking.
Let's see. So in terms of the the environment issues, so what? And you mentioned you're not going to be able to address all the need. So can you just where have you prioritized things where you're going to focus on? Did you say the condo associations, or where are you going to start?
Thank you for the question. So we certainly will not be able to help all 6,000 building owners under BERDO with this grant. Our priorities are for under-resourced building owners, prioritizing condo associations, small businesses, community health centers, nonprofits, and other community-serving buildings, with the idea that the Mayor's Office of Housing Programs have been serving the affordable housing community, and as well as some state programs, but other building types have not had the same level of support. So prioritizing this grant for those building types.
I just add that while we are, as Hannah said, prioritizing those folks for the most direct and immediate technical support, we're also hoping to develop resources through this grant that can be shared more widely with the community. And as we move through implementation, we're going to be learning a lot about what the scale and type of needs are across all 6,000 buildings. And so that will inform our next attempts to seek further resources from the federal government, from our partners at the state, and using the Equitable Emissions Investment Fund.
And so will you, where will the funds come for, to boost your efforts? Is there another grant at the end of the year, or what should we be looking at?
So we are always looking out for that. This is our most immediate next step of grant. I think the next thing we're looking at is a partnership with the state to apply for additional implementation resources through the Department of Energy Resources. Is there anything else you want to share about that at this time, Hannah?
Just that there's a grant opportunity, again, from the Department of Energy at the federal level, I believe, that is intended to support building codes and building performance standards. BERDO is a building performance standard, and so we are partnering with the state and the City of Cambridge on an application for that grant. But it is a competitive grant, not a formula grant, so we will see if we are awarded that.
So you mentioned a $3.5 million state allocation, or whatever. And how much of that will be going to Boston?
So the $3.5 million was an investment from the mayor as part of the budget process to seed the Equitable Emissions Investment Fund.
Okay, sorry,
Yeah.
I misheard you.
Many sources.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. We are actively seeking all sources and pulling together as many resources as we can to support residents in this area.
And so I guess for the BERDO program, the idea is to target the buildings that are most responsible for carbon emissions in the city. So I guess how is that program going from your standpoint, and should it be expanded, or is that I don't know what your thoughts are on Berto going forward.
Sure. So, well, I think we are we're a fan of Berto. We think that as 70% of our emissions come from buildings, and as Hannah said, most of those buildings come from a relatively small number of buildings. We think it's the right tool. We've spent a lot of time, Hannah's team, in partnership with City Council and other stakeholders across the city, in developing regulations that we think are going to balance the needed flexibility with the need for aggressive action. And 2025 is going to be that first compliance year for emissions, to meet emissions targets. So we're going to be doing a lot of learning through this lead up to 2025, trying to make sure that buildings are in a good place and ready and have plans set. And I think it's going to be a lot of learning as we go to figure out how to calibrate. Is the scale of the need matching the scale of the resources we can provide? So I think we're on a good path right now, but we will continue to watch closely and be back to see. And Councilor Coletta is actually on the oversight board for the Berto. So I'm sure you will have many regular conversations on the Berto.
And I would just add to the question of expanding Berto, which I would assume to be like if we're considering adding smaller buildings. I will say that the smaller buildings are some of the buildings that are finding compliance more challenging because they tend to not have staff on site who are energy professionals, sustainability professionals, building managers, or property managers, and that's really what this grant is intended to help those building owners who are, very new to this and don't have as many resources to be able to understand their building emissions and develop a plan over time. Better resourced building owners that have an energy manager on site are much better equipped to be able to align emissions reduction with their ongoing capital planning and investments that they're already making in their building. So it is, that's a challenge that we're hoping to address with this grant.
Yeah, sorry, just one more question,
Of course.
Chair. As a layman looking at Berto, it does seem like I fully support the idea. I think it's a great approach. My question is more around how we gauge the emissions, and sort of we're relying on reports of the buildings themselves, and I guess going beyond 2025 do you think that is going to be enough? Is there any plans for how we can be more involved in making sure that we're the largest carbon emitters? I don't know if that's how you phrase it. Are going to be meeting our standards.
Yeah, so in terms of reporting, the building owners do report their energy use, but they report it through the utilities. And so the utilities, they make a request of Eversource or National Grid, and then those utilities give the Berto team the data of the energy usage. So we are able to track quite well the energy usage of every building. In addition, Berto, the update to Berto in 2021 required third-party verification, and so we're getting higher quality data that it has to be reviewed by a third party, not just by someone who is on staff for the building owner.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, and thank you everyone for coming in.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Councilor Weber. I just want the record to reflect that we've been joined by Councilor Worrell. I also just want to let folks know that I am on the Berto board as part of the legislation that was put forth. It explicitly says that the chair of the Environmental Justice, Resiliency, and Parks Committee will be there. I have not gone to any meetings yet, but I do look forward to learning more and discussing with my colleagues how we can hold some of our largest carbon emitters accountable. So I think I'll start with the repairs on the pools and the maintenance. Thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate, just generally, I'll just say I appreciate the holistic, systemic approach that you've taken to providing some of these repairs and maintenance to our dilapidated buildings, quite frankly, through an equity lens, because there's a lot of resources that have been pooled in different places. Again, the pun didn't mean that, but there's been a lot of resources that have been placed in specific communities and it has not been distributed equitably. So I do appreciate that approach that your respective departments have taken on that. I also want to thank you for the Clarity Pool. Look forward to that opening up, hopefully in July of this year, and understanding that you all took action to correct some of the harms that have taken place in that community where there should have been major investments decades ago, and there weren't. And so I do appreciate both of you, and I see Chief Masso here. Thank you so much for working with the community to correct that situation and provide a beautiful world-class pool that generations of Charlestown kids can now enjoy. And of course, as somebody who represents an island and a peninsula, water safety is very important to me. I often talk about how for many years in my childhood, I could not physically access the water just due to maritime industrial use. And when we did have access to the water, you know, it felt like it wasn't really safe, and there's a lot of work that's being done with the programmatic side of it. So I just want to thank you for your work and thank the administration for focusing in on the programming, because it is so important. And it is a life or death issue for a lot of kids. My question on the aquatics grant is, sorry, I'm just looking at my notes here. So with the aquatics grant, it's $5 million. It's through the U.S. Department of Treasury, but it has to be spent by 2026. So that leads me to believe or ask, is that ARPA dollars, or is it part of a separate?
It's ARPA.
Okay, great. And with the repairs on the pool, so how many, do we have a breakdown of how many dollars are going to each particular pool, or is this just to accept and expend it, and then we'll figure out the breakdown of costs associated?
Yeah, so it's to accept and expend it. Our plan is to complete an assessment of the pools and sort of get better information. And so we sort of anticipate that some pools will need more of that money than others. But as I said, $5 million could easily be spent on one pool. And so we wanted to prioritize this funding for state of good repair projects to keep the pools open and prevent emergency closures. And then there are other investments through the capital plan or through the operating budget and some of the other pools for like the larger investments that are going to be required.
Thank you. And when do you intend to complete that assessment to utilize these funds?
Pretty quickly. So over the net, I mean, as soon as we can accept these funds and get our contract with DCR signed, we hope to immediately dive into that. So I would say within next couple of months, we should have that done.
Okay, thank you so much. And there's no restrictions on what you can spend this money on, as long as it is a part of the aquatics facilities line item, or?
We've been doing some of that research, and that's my understanding, yes. We don't believe that there's particular restrictions on it.
Okay, thank you so much. Switching to Berto. Thank you so much for your briefing and the meeting that we had that lasted well over an hour, talking about Berto and how important it is to meet our carbon goals by 2050. Boston is leading the way, right? Our sister cities are looking at us to see what we are doing here. And we are quite literally paving the way for other cities to replicate what we are doing here. And so it is monumental, the work that is going into this. And I just appreciate you and your staff for everything that you're doing so that we could actually be a carbon neutral city by 2050. But because of that, we are paving the way. We're working at the kinks a little bit, right? And so I do see this particular grant amount, $659 and change. It is a small amount, but I do appreciate the fact that you are reaching out to Cambridge and doing another federal government grant, or applying for another federal government grant. We have the Mass Save program. We have the $3.5 million that has been seeded into the Equitable Emissions Fund. Thank you, Mayor, for that. But I am a little worried as to how far this particular grant is going to go. I know that we can't serve 6,000 of those buildings. Do we have an idea of how much or how many people we will serve through this grant?
Yeah, so we will have a final number once we get pricing back from our public procurement process. Our estimate based on Mayor's Office of Housing Programs is that we could serve about 60 buildings with $10,000 each for for these kind of services to have a really detailed, good plan of attack. If we offer services that are a little bit lighter touch, higher level, we could serve more buildings, and that's part of what we'll be working out in the procurement process to determine kind of the best scope and division of this funding, because you are right, it will not go very far for 6,000 buildings, and this kind of work can be quite expensive.
So about 60 buildings with a different amount depending on the need, or, okay.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned the Justice 40 neighborhoods, and those are regulations that are brought down and put forth by the federal government. What are the Justice 40 neighborhoods in the city of Boston? And just correct me if I'm wrong, but this money will go directly to those neighborhoods to assist those buildings, or is it citywide?
This funding will be used citywide. Per the grant requirements, we have to spend 40% of it in Justice 40 neighborhoods. Okay. So I can follow up with the details on that if anyone is interested in the specific census tracts that qualify as that. So we'll be prioritizing Justice 40 neighborhoods, but we are open to serving under-resourced Berto buildings in any neighborhood, and there are Berto buildings in every single neighborhood in Boston.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. I would love to know, which census tract those are. We had said neighborhood, so I was thinking it was as easy as saying East Boston, which is an environmental justice community, but I understand there are dozens, if not hundreds, of census tracts across the city of Boston, so it would be difficult to explain which one is which and which one isn't. Okay, I think that's all that I have for my questions. I'll go to Councilor Worrell if you have any questions at all or opening statement.
Thank you, Chair, and just want to say thank you for all your work. I know the community is very excited for getting more pools online. I know it was something that they were longing for, but one of my questions is the $5 million, because I know BPS and BCUIF have now different responsibilities on some pools, correct? Like the pools that are in BPS are their responsibilities, and the standalone buildings are BCYFs. So is this $5 million across all facilities, or is it just focused on the BCYF pool facilities?
Yeah, so thank you, Councilor, for the question. Yeah, so there are investments across several of the facilities, as I mentioned before, but we expect to prioritize the standalone BCYF facilities with this particular funding. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm not sure if you were here for this part, but we want to prioritize the state of good repair funding for this $5 million, because it's not really enough to invest in a large capital project. So,
right.
So that's where we think that we'll get the most out of this funding.
All right. Yep, no further questions. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Worrell. Councilor Weber, do you have any additional thoughts or comments, questions?
No, nothing further. No, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move to public testimony. Do we have anybody signed up for Zoom? Okay. We have one person signed up for public testimony in person. Jean-Luc, if you'd like to approach the podium right over here on the left, just state your name and affiliation for the record, please. Thank you.
All right, hello. My name is Jean-Luc Pirit, and I'm president of the North American Indian Center of Boston in Jamaica Plain, also a resident of Hyde Park. And there are several foundational things that I wish I could address within 2 minutes. But I can say for a fact that at 501 South Huntington Avenue, we are definitely one of those under-resourced nonprofits that could use the assistance of this, and especially within the context of Indian affairs within Massachusetts. We serve as the state's liaison with members of tribes that are outside of the borders. So we have an intergovernmental role. There's so many things that are foundational, but it comes down to free, prior, and informed consent. I'm really, I understand like how far $659,990 goes in Boston. But again, we have an issue where tribes are mentioned, indigenous peoples are mentioned, and I'm just now wrapping my head around some of the concepts of how this money is going to be allocated by the Environment Department. I had very little time to prepare, so I hope to be able to have some really detailed written testimony. But we absolutely, as an urban Indian organization, we absolutely need the assistance because we have a very unique situation. Our building is, we have a lease, a 99-year lease that's being held by Division of Capital Asset Management, but we as an organization are tasked with the repair, the improvement, the replacement of the building that we're leasing. But again, we're under-resourced. So there's just a lot of issues that come up. But I am also within the city. I'm on the Commemoration Commission. I serve on the Legislation and Preservation Tools subcommittee. So I'm hoping that coming out of today and coming out of this grant, we can have better relationships between the city of Boston and Indigenous peoples vis-a-vis North American Indian Center Boston. So thank you for your time, and yeah.
Thank you so much for being here and taking time out of your day to provide your testimony. I want to ask the Environment Department if you have any response or would like to say anything.
Yes, just thank you very much for coming out, and we will absolutely work with you. You have my commitment that we will be working closely throughout this process to make sure that you have the support and the resources that are needed to achieve these standards and goals. Okay. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much again for coming out and providing testimony. It is just so important that as we implement this transition, that it is a just transition, and nobody is left behind. And so I appreciate your diligence and your intentionality around this work too. So I don't think we have any more public testimony. So with that, I'm going to move for passage of these dockets, and seeing no other thoughts, comments, or suggestions, this hearing on dockets 0135 and 0137 is adjourned.